Hello, this is Cathy Cassidy and I'm back for another Sunday book club. I hope that your week has been a good one and that you are enjoying the gentle easing of lockdown here in the UK. And again, as before, all love and good wishes and prayers to readers who are struggling with the pandemic in countries like India, Sri Lanka and Nepal, because I know that things are much more serious there at the moment. So we are all thinking of you. I have a couple of shout outs to do today. One of them is to the children of Cumhola National School in Bantry in Ireland, who I did a little kind of Zoom event with in the autumn, I think it was just before Christmas actually. And it was the loveliest event with the loveliest school. And I remember sending some bookmarks off to the kids, but just recently, just in the last week, I've received a fabulous letter from the school now that it's opened up again. And inside the letter, these absolutely beautiful little pieces of artwork of the Chocolate Box Girls sisters, drawn by the kids from that school. I think everyone could recognise who those sisters are, which really cheered me up and made me smile. I just loved to think that the kids were so engaged that they're kind of, I love the way there's a little honeybee on Honey's drawing. And then also some of the characters from the Lost and Found series, like Lexi and Sammy and Sasha. And I just love this. So lovely. So yeah, you are my awesome, inspiring kids of the week. Thank you ever so much for putting a big smile on my face. And last week, if you remember, we did have a giveaway of 2 lovely prints by fellow author Deborah Morgan. And those prints, or lots of you asked if you could go into the draw for those. And the names that came out of the hat for those 2 prints were Nathini and Laura. So if Nathini and Laura would both message me, please. Don't put your address or anything on the YouTube comments, but you can comment and say it's me or whatever. Or I think Laura got to message me with her entry via Facebook anyway. So do it via Facebook, do it via email, any way like that, but don't put your address out there, and I'll be able to send your prizes, your little prints off to you. So that's very cool. And today I have 3 books that I wanted to talk about. And those 3 books are all very different. And this week they're adult books, they're for grown-ups. Although this first one is a perfect book to, would appeal, I think, to kids as well. It's the most beautiful book. It's called Rewild Your Garden. And it's by Frances Tophill. And I've been doing loads, like a lot of us, I think, I've been doing quite a lot of gardening through the lockdowns. And we've just moved house, so it's going to take us a while to actually get the garden the way we want it to be. But this book is completely on my wavelength. It's about rewilding and making sure that your garden is wildlife friendly. So hopefully it would appeal to some of you as well. So it's one of the things I really like about it. It's actually got loads and loads of illustrations all the way through, which make it visually beautiful, as well as having lots of really useful information. It's definitely something that will make you smile. So it also has lots of information on how to bring all sorts of animals to your garden, from slow worms to woodlice, butterflies, foxes even. It goes through all the visitors that might just come to your garden, whether they're welcome or not, and tells you how to encourage them. So it's just so nice. It's the kind of book that you can dip in and out of. It tells you, there's also a really fabulous section on making your own pond, and that's something I really want to do. We have a little pond at the moment, but I would love to have a pond with newts like the one that we used to have in Scotland, which is very wildlife friendly. So that's my big plan, is to have a special wildlife pond in the garden. So yeah, I just find this so pretty and so easy to dip in and out of. It's the kind of book that is perfect for you, whether you know loads about gardening or whether you know nothing at all. It's not going to put you off. It's not going to, you know, blind you with too much science and sort of make you feel that you can't do anything. It's just inspiring, and I think that's just about perfect. And I know Frances Tophill knows exactly what she's talking about as well, which is, it definitely helps. So Rewild Your Garden, a non-fiction recommendation from me. Fiction-wise, I have actually read quite a lot of stuff over the last few weeks since, you know, especially when I took the little break from doing Sunday Book Club. I was reading quite a lot. And I read some books, quite a few books that I didn't feel were brilliant. And I tend not to, I just don't really review books that I'm not really keen on, because, you know, why would you want to say bad things about a book particularly? And I was thinking, well, what am I going to, you know, what have I got that I can actually recommend? And then, of course, into your hands will come a book that is so lovely and so magic that, yeah, you've got no worries whatsoever about telling people about it. So the book that I wanted to tell you about that's a fiction is this wonderful one. It's The Strawberry Thief by Joanne Harris. And Joanne Harris is the author of one of my absolute all-time favourite books, Chocolat. And some of you hopefully will have read that book, and some of you may have seen the film, which also happens to be one of my favourite films. Just going to show that, you know, sometimes they make a movie of a book that you really love and you hate it, but this time it was, Chocolat is just magic. So Joanne Harris has actually written 4 books in the Chocolat series. So there's Chocolat, there's the Lollipop Shoes, and there is Peaches for Monsieur le Curé. And I would normally, at this point, I would hold up all of the other 3 books to show you, except that I don't have them at the moment, because I did a very foolish thing before we moved house, and I lent them to a friend. And I kind of know who has them, but I'm, you know, it's a bit embarrassing sometimes to ask for your books back. So if they don't appear, I might just have to, I might have to buy them again or look for them in a secondhand bookshop. But yeah, I was going to ask a question actually, because this happens to me quite a lot. I fall in love with a book or perhaps a series of books, and I lend the books to somebody, or I say, oh, you must read these, you're going to really, really love them. And the person will go away and you perhaps never hear anything more about them, you know. So either the person didn't really love the books, or the person's loved them, read them, and then passed them on again, or given them to a charity shop, or who knows. But anyway, do you lend books? Do you borrow books? It's tricky, isn't it? And, you know, have you ever held onto a book when you should have really given it back? I don't know. Or perhaps if somebody lends you a book, you know, perhaps you're not sure whether you're supposed to keep it or not. Tell me what you think about the whole borrowing and lending thing when it comes to books. However, those are the first 3 in the set of books. I wouldn't call it a series so much as a set of books. They fit together. And the 4th, and I think it's going to be the final one, is The Strawberry Thief. And oh my goodness, how lovely it was to step back into that world. And Joanne Harris's world, the Chocolat world, is full of magic, really is. and the writing is beautiful but easy to read. It's, you know, it's got something for everybody, I think, and all sorts of messages and kind of empowering ideas and lift you up kind of feelings from this. So The Strawberry Thief, absolutely loved it, recommend it. Whether you've read the other three or not, you will still really enjoy this. So there you go. And my last recommendation today, it's interesting. Yeah, it's not very often that I watch something on TV and then recommend a book because of it. But this is what's happened with this, because recently I watched the 3 parts of a series called The Pursuit of Love. And The Pursuit of Love is a book by Nancy Mitford, which was written just at the end of World War II. And it's a story of growing up, coming of age, and then living through life as a young mother and as in a family, very eccentric family, during the 20s, the 30s and the 40s in the UK, in a really, really posh family, okay? So it's a whole look into a completely different world. It's very, very alien. I'd read the book before seeing the series on TV. I loved the book, and I also love the series, which I thought was so funny and so... It's very different to the book, but in a way it's also very faithful to it. I'll show you though, this is a lovely folio edition of the book, which I actually got at a secondhand bookshop a few years ago. It's got the most adorable illustrations. I really love them. The illustrations will give you a little bit of an idea of the story. And yeah, it's about a young woman who is in love with the idea of love and is always falling in love with the wrong people. But there is a lot of emotion and sadness in the story too. It's so wittily written, so cleverly done, and it reflects all kinds of issues of the time, what was going on in politics, what's going on in society, and what goes on as well in the minds of girls and young women as they grow up, and how weird and peculiar and bizarre and yet still wonderful families can be. So those are my 3 picks for today, and yeah, just in case you've not got this, The Pursuit of Love is by Nancy Mitford. But yeah, those are my picks. Tell me your favourite books that you've read recently. Leave your messages in the comments, etc. And yeah, don't forget to join in and let me know whether you would lend or borrow a favourite book as well. I think in a way you lend a book because you want somebody else to love it as much as you do. So that's my reason, but I do hate that sometimes you lose the book. Maybe it's worth it if you've converted someone to that story. Maybe it is. I will see you next time. Thank you so much to everybody who took the time to leave a comment, or to send a little message via Facebook or Instagram. Take care, stay safe, and I will see you next week.